Welcome to Marvel Champions podcast about Marvel Champions, the card game. I'm your host, Scott, and with me as always, my co-host, Ryan.
Hello, Scott, and guess what? We've got something special for the fans.
Top secret mission, I hear, Ryan.
That's right. Even though I guess it's not really top secret because it was a news release, so everyone knows about it.
Top secret mission from the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh, that's right, folks. FFG has released information on one of the heroes in the upcoming S.H.I.E.L.D. box.
That's right. And only one, Ryan. That was surprising. Guess they're trying to get through the holiday season here.
Ooh, the anticipation.
That's right. We'll have to wait to see what Nick Fury looks like. But today, I think...
Wait a second. You said Nick Fury. Isn't he the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
He got kicked out, I think, at some point.
Oh.
He went rogue.
Rogue.
He went from David Hasselhoff to Samuel Jackson.
Okay.
Maria Hill, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Article. This is our first reaction. I think I've glanced at it real quick, but as discussion-wise, this will be pretty fresh, Ryan. It should be pretty good.
Yeah, it's always nice. We haven't sat on this for very long. We've, read up on it and excited to share. So, shall we start?
Yes, let's do it. She is the same on both sides, Maria Hill and Maria Hill. That's going to be, I think, something we're going to get used to going into some of these new heroes.
Oh, yeah, because
I'm human heroes.
That's right. I'm assuming Nick Fury is probably going to be the same because I don't think he has a special alternate.
All right. Let's hear it.
So, Maria Hill, she is a shield and a spy. She has 3 recovery, which is kind of normal for human. Her hand size is 6, expected. Hit points 9, expected. Actually, honestly, I was thinking it might be closer to 8, be the first 8 health hero. But she does have a lot of text. So the first part, it looks like it's more like a setup type thing. You may include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect.
Interesting.
So basically, surprise, she's a leadership aspect, but that means you can include from aggression, from justice, protection, I guess pool, as long as it has that shield support. It's a shield support, and it's 3 copies, so you could do, I guess, a common one would be from justice. You've got the shield support. I forgot what it's called.
Perfect.
Surveillance.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Sure. I was going to say, I don't know, like I said, we're just doing this fresh, so we haven't really looked at how many shield supports are out there in other aspects. I do think it is a big point to point out that it's not basic.
Team?
You can't use basic because it does say aspect.
That's true. I think it's surveillance team is the justice one that I'm thinking of. But yeah, you can include all 3 of those as part of your deck building. That sounds pretty fun. So, cool. I like deck building and combos, so this should be interesting.
I do already see an issue. I'll let you go ahead and talk with the action there.
Yes, there is an action. Exhaust Maria Hill. Search your deck for a shield support and add it to your hand. That's going to be very nice, and it kind of, based off, spoiler alert, some of the cards she has, it sounds like it's something you'll want to do first turn.
Yeah, and I said an issue, but I guess I didn't read the card. But there is no limitation on that, so if you are able to ready Maria Hill, you could exhaust her again.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It also effectively makes her a hand size of 7 starting out the game.
Yeah, if you're willing to exhaust, yeah.
Right. And I have a sneaky suspicion that her basics actions are probably not her strongest thing, so having her exhaust is probably not the worst thing in the world.
I'm going to agree with you. We'll find out for sure once you get to the hero side, but it sounds like just from this card alone, you can surmise that she's more about supports than necessarily like basic stats,
Right.
I would guess.
All right, so Maria Hill, hero, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, shield spy. Each ally you control gains the shield trait.
Ooh.
Reassignment action, move 1 all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. Limit once per round. Hand sets of 5, hit points of 9. So, pretty
That's
good
cool.
there. Just a couple like quick thoughts. Pretty average, right? 2 thwarts can be nice, so she can, control threat. 2 defense, pretty good. Let's see. If you do flip down, your allies will lose shield. So if there is like a team card that comes out and it requires them to have the shield trait or all your allies or something to do something, you would lose that temporarily while she's an alter ego.
That's true facts right there.
It looks like she's doing something with these all-purpose counters, which I assume we'll get into. And yeah, kind of manipulating some stuff, and I think you're on the right track with her being more of a support person. So, let's any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think the stats, her basic stats are better than I anticipated. I think the 2 thwart was going to be 1 because it matches her ally. 1 attack seems right. I think I was expecting maybe a 1 defense, but 2 defense is very helpful. So basically, it sounds like you're either thwarting or defending with her, or you're exhausting in her alter ego.
Right.
That's like her main things.
So maybe she wants to flip down because you can go grab the shield supports that you want. I think the other thing.
I would guess that too. Mm-hmm.
All right, next card up in line is a reprint, Command Team. I think they're just kind of pointing out, hey, this is a shield support. It uses 3 command counters. Looks like you can exhaust it. The normal exhaust, remove a counter ally. I imagine you can add those all-purpose counters to the shield support, so maybe you can move that around, kind of use that as a battery pack, like Rocket a little bit.
I agree. I think that's what the all-purpose are. It doesn't matter where you put them, they can be used.
Right. And that seems like a good one because it's not 1 per player or anything. So you could have multiple command teams out, or you could fetch it to use it as a resource, stuff like that.
So here's a question for you for terminology. It says her ability says to remove or to move an all-purpose counter, but like on Command Team, it starts with 3 command counters. Does that mean you can only put an all-purpose counter onto command? You can't take Command Team, you can't take one of those command counters away from it to give it to another shield support?
See, I don't know. And I don't know. I'd have to I'd have to read the article, right?
Yeah, I guess I should say we looked at the images for the article. We didn't necessarily read it hardcore.
Okay. Use support. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Each ally you control the shield trait and can reassign all-purpose counters between shield supports once per round. This gives her an impressive amount of flexibility as it allows her to get more uses out of whichever support best fits the situation. So based off of that sentence, it does make it sound like because each of those supports probably have a very unique phrase. Like whether it's we'll get into some of the other ones, but it seems like they're all named something unique. But by using the all-purpose, it would become whatever it is. So like this one's a command counter. If we go to the next card in the list, it's one of her supports of support staff. That is a staff counter.
And you can still do it as an all-purpose. Okay, so she's basically converting shield counters into all-purpose counters.
Whatever they need to move them around, yeah. So you can kind of, if you know you have to run out of one, but it's like the one card you need, that kind of seems like what she wants to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So 1 cost, support staff, support, Persona Shield, 3 staff counters, resource, exhaust staff, support staff and remove one counter from it. Generate a wild resource for a player whose identity has the shield trait.
Ooh.
So she can be given some resources around. So that's good.
It sounds like it's mostly going to be used for her, but I do like the idea that it can be flexible if the circumstance works for another player.
Right. She seems like she's not going to be the big heavy hitter or big heavy thwarter. She's going to be kind of like the support character, board management, help you out when you need it. That, hey, I need one resource and I can do this extra thing.
As long as you have shield.
Yeah, as long as you have shield. As long as you're playing Nick Fury. So
yeah. Cool. All right. Let's see. The next one is a one-cost event called Reinforcements. Action: choose any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. Place one all-purpose counter on each of those supports. I think this is a really cool card.
Right.
We'll find out later in the article, but 6 cost cards do exist, and but I think that's cool. So if you had 3 command teams out, you could put a counter on all 3 of those with this
right.
card.
So you could do, hypothetically, 1 to 6 1 cost, 3 2 cost, 2 3 cost. I guess you could do whatever combination, right? If there was a 4 cost and a 2 cost, or a 4 and 2 1s, or 1 6, correct, or a 5 and a 1. Who knows, right? There's so many combinations. So yeah. And you can add it. So that's pretty cool. So if you think you're about to run out of something and you find this, that's pretty cool. Kind of restock. Dum Dum Dugan it right there. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I like how it's not, you can dump all the counters onto one. You have to spread it out. So it's always only going to be one counter.
But see,
you know what I mean?
Right, but the thing is, you combo this with her ability, you put it on 3 junky, quote unquote junky ones you're not going to use, and then you've got 3 purpose counters, all purpose counters that you can now use her ability to move from one you're not going to use to one you want to use.
Yeah. Just from everything we've talked about so far, it definitely has that rocket battery pack type thing. Get counters on something that's easy to get out, that comes out with a lot of counters, and then move it around to other things that don't have as much counters to keep them out.
Yes, I feel like that's the thing. Get out the good card and try and keep it where it's alive and keep restocking it.
Yeah. Next one.
Next up is Shield Director, 2 cost upgrade. It's a title. Action: exhaust Shield Director. Place 1 all-purpose counter on a shield support. So you just kind of keep generating those. Seems pretty good. You can do this in Alter Ego, it looks like. So.
Oh yeah, you can. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's just an action. So seems like pretty straightforward. What she wants to do, put one on. You can move it with her ability. So that's kind of nice.
I was thinking it was for what it does, the cost. I wasn't totally sure, but yeah, because you can do an Alter Ego, that makes sense why it's 2 cost. Can you answer a quick question for me though? Is that Clayface in that image?
I don't think so. I do recognize...
Wrong comic, but...
Blue Marvel. I think that's Spectrum.
Man, I don't know.
I don't recognize the people on the right. I mean, I'm going to maybe guess Sasquatch, but I could be totally wrong.
Oh,
some hairy guy.
You know what? That one could be it.
Maybe Songbird in the way left. I don't know for sure.
And interesting.
Then some people on the right. I don't know. Some short, bald guy.
Kind of looks like Puck in a way.
Oh, you could be right if that's the whole, is it Alpha Flight? Sasquatch, Puck, and some other Canadian people.
Oh, maybe.
North Star or something. I don't know. So, good call.
Nice card. It's definitely one you'll probably want to get out as quick as possible. Next card. It's another event. 0 cost. I like 0. On the double. It says action. Ready any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. First off, I have to say, when I hear the word on the double, all I think about is A Christmas Story.
Ralphie, on the double!
Similar to the other event, I like this. I like the idea of being able to ready those supports. Um, again, I'll use the command team one. Being able to ready that, to ready another ally again, is amazing. You can get some really cool combos out going, especially if you have like an ally that can exhaust, that does something but doesn't take away its health. Doing that over and over and over again, oh man, that'd be great. So I like this event as well.
Yeah, and I do like the flexibility that it has, right? We've already kind of talked about you can do, three okay things in ready them, or like the one big thing, ready it so you got a second, stab at it for that turn.
Yeah,
That's
totally
pretty cool.
agree.
Yep. I guess the other big thing is just make sure you have those counters. Seems like counter management's going to be her big thing.
Yeah, she's a counter management.
Ooh. We'll get there,
Manager.
right?
Sorry,
Oh,
counter manager.
all-purpose accountant manager.
All right, it'll catch on. The people will share it. They'll catch on.
All-purpose counter manager. There we go.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of an all-purpose counter manager, special funding. Good old government funding here.
Oh,
It's a resource card. It's got a science and a physical resource response. After you spend this card to pay for a shield support, place one all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. So, spend that for those, get an extra counter and potential extra use out of it, or moving something from it to one you really want. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I
I
don't
like
have any
spending the
complaints.
government's money. Yeah.
Yeah, I love spending government money.
All right. Resource.
Ooh,
Oh, the Iliad.
I get the fun one.
Yes.
So this next one's called the Iliad. It's like a super mega helicarrier. It is a 6 cost support. It's a shield and vehicle. Comes with 3 mission counters. It has an action, exhaust the Iliad and remove 1 mission counter from it. Choose one of the 3 options here. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. That's a lot. Remove 4 threat from a scheme. That's a whole lot. Or heal 3 damage from an identity. That's a whole lot. Scott, I don't know how I feel about the cost, but I love what it's doing.
Yeah. If her alter ego ability, go grab a shield support. I mean, you can go grab this out turn 1. Hand size is 7. You can play it. It's the only thing you're going to do. But that's pretty good.
It makes sense why we just did the resource card, the double resource, because it sounds like it's going to be expensive. So
that was one thing we'll get to, but she seems like she might be a little expensive to set up.
Yes.
Takes a lot of government money to get all set up, though. This one's pretty cool because talking about that support person, it is just an action. So Maria Hill and Alter Ego can do any of these. So it's like
you're right, yeah.
normal hero needing to use their hero action events. She can just straight up be like, you need him dead? Here, 5 damage, airstrike right on that dude. Now you can, you don't have guard anymore. Off turn, so.
I'm looking at this, and so far all the cards we've done have all been action, not hero action. So she can
right.
literally spend the entire game. I think Black Widow was the first to really, you can stay in alter ego and be successful. She might be easily topping that so far.
Right. Because 4 threat in alter ego, that's pretty good. You exhaust something, do it again.
The one downside is her hero form. She can move those counters around, but
right.
This is some big money right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. My only other thing is it is 6 cost, which is that hurts me. I don't like
hate
expensive
high cost
cards.
I have trouble paying 4 costs most of the time. I never pay 5 costs, and 6. I don't know if I'll ever
Ugh.
be able to. But sounds like she has some ways to do
Well,
it. So
from what we've seen so far, her events aren't like your traditional events. So if you want to actually do anything with her, it looks like you're going to need this card in particular.
that's very true. I mean, there's probably some other events we haven't seen, but yeah, no, I agree.
All right. I don't think we mentioned it, but she does come with leadership. Makes kind of sense. She's that director of Shield. She's got friends. So next one, another sex cost support. The Cersei Shield vehicle uses 2 deployment counters. Action exhausts the Cersei. Remove 1 deployment counter from it and choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
No
I
cost restriction. So
I definitely feel this is only good if you do it for a high cost ally, at least 3 or higher.
yeah, 3 or
But
4, something that has like an when they interplay, they do something
that'd be
really
nice.
maximize that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. 2
Again,
costs seems expensive for just 2 uses, but I guess you could move counters to it, I guess.
yeah, 6 is a lot, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. 6 costs. All right. What's next, Ryan?
I'm terrible with these names. The Pericles. 6 cost support, shield vehicle, just like the other ones. 2 supply counters it comes with. Action exhausts the Pericles and remove 1 supply counter from it. Give a hero or villain a status card of your choice. And then it says give an ally or minion a status card of your choice. I think this is a very versatile card here.
Yeah. I like it. I guess it kind of goes to that, like, having to deal with stalwart or steady characters. You know, if you need that extra one, or like giving yourself a tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not the same as a stun, but hopefully, you can, in essence, prevent like an attack.
Yeah, I like how it's not useless if the villain has steady or stalwart. There,
Right.
you can do more with it because of that tough. So
And it's a hero, so you can give it to a friend.
that's true. Yeah,
So I
I
like
like
that.
it.
You can tough an ally, infuse her, stun a minion. I like that. I think it would be cool. I think we've talked about it before, but like a hero who like plays off of status cards, like that'd be cool to like stun yourself, and then whatever their niche thing does, designer
Oh,
wise, like if you
so like,
remove a stun from yourself, you get to do X, Y, Z or something.
oh, okay, so like Colossus, but for all the status cards.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, okay.
Like
Yeah,
taking
that might be
something
an
negative and
interesting
turning
one.
it into a positive seems like
That
an interesting concept.
the perfect one for that would be, I feel like Legion, since he has a lot of he
Like
kind of
crazy
like goes back and
things.
forth.
Yeah, manipulating
that,
stuff.
that
Cool.
might be a fun one.
All right.
All right, man. What
My
else we
turn.
got? Yeah.
The hard call, 2 cost event, hero action. This one you do got to be a hero. Discard a shield support you control. Deal X damage to each enemy, where X is the printed cost of the discarded support.
There's that attack card.
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes down to numbers. More people die if I don't act than if I do. Maria Hill.
Oh,
Yeah, I think this one's that like sacrifice card, right? It's like I can deal 6 to everything, but then I lose my big support.
yeah.
So maybe it's like a game ender or like a really desperate time, or you're down to like 1 counter, and is that 1 counter worth what it does, or dealing damage to everybody if you're swarmed or something? It's a tough call,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah. No,
Or a hard call. It's a hard call.
I like the name of the card because it fits what it's doing. That
Right.
sacrifice mentality.
That added pressure of being the director.
Yeah, yeah. So I like it. I've never really used I think it's leadership cards that do the ally sacrificing. I've never really used those, but
Yeah.
but I guess it has potential, especially if you have a bunch of supports. I mean, if you have a 2 cost or 1 cost, you might as well play it. You could ding everybody kind of thing. So
Yeah. All right. Speaking of discarding some allies, we got a few allies to talk about, Ryan.
All right. First one, leadership ally Victoria Hand. 3 cost. 2 support. Or sorry, not 2 support. 2 thwart. 1 attack. 2 health. Traded as shield. Response. After Victoria Hand enters play, ready a shield support.
Pretty good.
Not too bad. I think it's probably going to work pretty good with this deck. But that's kind of all it will be to me. I think it's very specialized into this whole shield thing with Maria.
Yeah, I'm with you. This deck ally.
Yeah.
All right. Another leadership resource card, organizational support. Interrupt. When you spin this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait with your identity. Generate the printed resources on each card exhausted this way. And it is a science resource. So you would spin
schmoly.
1 and it could potentially add 3 more, right? So a total of 4.
That's the way I read it. It can be a 4.
Right. You get the 1 automatically, but then you could have up to 3 additional. Interesting.
Yowzers. That's how you pay for those 6 cost ones.
Yes. Yeah, and it could help with like requirement cards too. So,
yeah.
because it generates the printed resource of each of the card exhausted that way. So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And it's universal. It doesn't say shield, so if you've got some like X-Men allies or X-Men supports or Avengers, it could work there too. So this one is not just shield related. It makes sense in this deck, but just kind of point that out.
Yeah, I think this could bring a lot of different heroes back to leadership to do some fun things for paying.
Yeah.
You could do it opens not only for like X-Men or X-Force, Avengers, Guardians, it can even do like Ariel, right?
Oh yeah, just sharing the same trait. Yeah, you're right.
So
like, here we go.
You can do Ariel,
Angel.
So that's pretty huge. I think this will open up a lot of resource options for heroes that struggle. So.
Sure. The other thing I was going to point out is I do like this card's like decision making. Like I have to sacrifice the ability, the potential opportunity cost of an ally or support doing something this turn, but then I generate resources because of it. I do like that part of this card, the decision making of the game.
I agree. I think that's I'm glad it's not just allies, it's supports too.
Yeah. Any combination.
Yeah. I definitely think it works great for Maria, especially with the 6 cost things she's got going.
You're gonna need it.
But I do like how this card operates as a resource.
Yep. All right. Next one is a basic ally, Grant Ward. He is a 0 cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. Ryan, that seems pretty cool. 0 cost, Grant Ward.
I love it.
Oh, but, he is a shield spy. Grant Ward cannot defend. And Ryan, forced response. After you reveal a treachery, you may spend a science resource. If you do not, take damage equal to Grant Ward's attack and remove Grant Ward from the game. That little snake's a double agent.
Dun, dun, dun.
Spoiler alert.
I think this is a good card. I like the design of it. It's got good stats, great cost, great health.
Great art.
Yeah, great art. But it has that little caveat, which I think is a good way to represent his betrayal.
Yeah, I like that. It's got the little Hydra in the background. So, yeah, I like the risk reward. Because if you don't get a treachery, hey, you're good. No.
Yeah. The goal is to try to kill him as fast as you can.
Yeah, at least use them once or twice. And you can't, unfortunately, chump block with them, but...
Yeah.
Right? All right, Ryan. Last card.
Last
and then we'll
one.
wrap up some thoughts. Yep.
Front organization. Zero cost support. It's a location play under any player's control. Max 1 per player. Interrupt. When an encounter card effect would discard a card you control, discard front organization instead of discarding that card. So it is literally a card to discard for another reason.
Yeah, so it's like caught off guard fodder.
Yeah. Now it says a card you control. Does that mean a card you control that has to be played, or does that also include your hand?
I would say it has to be in play. I think that's
Okay.
the whole purpose. You control cards that are in play. I don't think you technically control the card in your hand.
Yeah. I I'm not sure if I'll ever play it, but I really like the idea of it because one of the cards that I do this for already is Skilled Investigator. I put it down because not only do you get the bonus of the side schemes for justice, but I can just get discarded and play it again later. So it's basically
Yeah.
in that same thing.
It does stink there's no like trait to it besides location. I think it probably makes it too strong if it was like a shield location. But
Though honestly, that would make sense because it literally is a shield location.
right. Because the only thing I can see is that one resource leadership card. It could benefit that because you could exhaust that because it didn't do anything, but it has no counter, so exhausting it or whatever, it's not going to go away. So, but yeah. Yeah, I'm a little tough on this one. Uh, to me, it may be like very scenario specific. Doesn't like the four
Yeah.
horsemen, don't you have to discard a whole bunch with one of them?
Yeah, I think Ward discards an upgrade every time he attacks.
Right. So collector, those kind of things. But I guess with collector, if it goes away, it goes into the collection, so it's not as good. But
That's true. No, I think you're right. I think depending on the scenario, this could be a potential play
yeah,
or not. I mean, with being a zero cost support, I can just throw it in. Even if I'm at, say, my 40 that I want, I could throw
Right.
this in for 41 and just play and be done with it.
right. So there's that aspect to it too. Like if you do play a 40 deck and you have a few of these, you give it to some friends just to thin your deck, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's okay. I'm with you. I don't know how much I'll actually try and play it, but I think it's pretty good.
It's time to. What's your final thoughts on the preview of Maria Hill?
I think she's gonna be different. I am
That's
trying
the
to
most
think
neutral
of
way of saying it.
like so. I don't know. Like part of me, if you listen, I like Black Widow. She's very support slash upgrade focused and not a lot of events. I feel like recently we've had a lot of event characters
Yeah.
and I've enjoyed them. So this will kind of change how you play. It's a little more, I think, strategic. A lot of planning, really thinking out your turns. Like, oh, sequentially, I need to do this first, then I can do this. I can ready this, do this again, and it's going to be a lot of that, I think. But she seems
Yeah.
strong. I think the whole like alter ego, just actions, is going to be cool as well.
Yeah, I see the similarities with Black Widow, because like you said, though I think in a different way. Like, yes, there's a lot of supports and stuff like that, but it, I guess her stuff directly affects the villain or the minions, but hers don't seem, they seem different. It's all about her, helping her stuff to then do other stuff that can help the team or hurt the villain
Right.
minions and
I
such.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hers is
yeah.
more like she's not as reactive like a Black Widow is. She's more like trying to set things up or do things on her turn. She's more proactive, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I would describe it. Proactively preparing.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of reacting, preparing
Yeah.
to react. Yeah.
Yeah. When we've talked about how we want the characters to play in past episodes, I've talked about how I'd love for Maria Hill to be like the ultimate hero support character. Like all they're doing is just trying to help the other players. And I don't think this is completely what I meant or how I was thinking of it, but I think it does kind of do that. It is designed to be helpful to the team. So I do like that aspect of her and how some of these cards were phrased to allow that to happen.
Yeah. Be interesting. Luckily, it's only a few short months away, Ryan. February. I think that's what the article says, right? Yep. February 25. So.
Now, the last question before we close this out is you are the one that gets to choose which hero, and I get the other one. Is Maria Hill looking like she could be the hero you choose? I mean, honestly, you haven't seen Nick Fury yet, but...
Oh, I was going to say, I'm leaving on a cliffhanger because we have not seen Nick yet. So I think maybe depending on what aspect he comes with will depend. So.
Oh, okay.
My only other thing is, I think we've talked about it a little bit in the episode if you didn't pick up on it, but the cost is, it makes me pucker a little bit, so.
I would agree. But we shall see. It sounds like she's going to be a slow build. You got to build up those supports, and then once she has those going, she's probably going to be like Iron Man, unstoppable.
I guess that's
what I'm
true.
Guessing.
Yeah, it's that slow burn.
So. Yeah. But I think she has some upside, so I am looking forward to her.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, looks pretty good. So I'm excited, Maria Hill, and let us know what your thoughts on Maria Hill is. Is she the hero, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. that you thought she was going to be? Did you think she was going to have 1 million supports? Let us know. Reach out to us at marvelchampionspod@gmail.com. And as always, if you want to go from a chump to a champ, listen to the Marvel Champions podcast. Thanks.
Take care, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I'll wait.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, but I'm going to put a funny thing, and probably if you're older than 30-something, you're going to love it.
I'm very curious what this is going to be.
Okay.
All right.
Ryan, you ruined it.
Oh, were you going to say that?
Yes. That wasn't going to be the clip I was going to put in. Continue, and I'll put in the real one. Continue.
The other
no, it's this
card.
one. No, it's this one. Okay,
Ruffy
finish your story.
Double.
Exactly, and I'll put it in.
Cut all this out.
Okay.
All right.
The percolator.
The
This is
percolator.
Pericles.
Pericles. That's what
Yes.
I was trying to say, but education.
Yeah, you're good.
It's
Here,
another
go.
6 costs.
Pericles, and I'll edit that right in the right spot, right?
The Pericles. Is it
Yeah, perfect.
that good? All right.
Yeah, I like it.